Hello again, friends. I'm Alex Lyon. You're about to do lesson 6 of 7 in this mini course. You're almost finished. I'm really happy for you. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, now's the time to do so. Make sure you visit the homepage for the channel, click on the subscribe button, and you'll start getting notifications for the course. So let's jump right in. In our last lesson, we looked at pauses. In this lesson 6, we'll look at avoiding fillers. Concise tip number 6 is to avoid fillers. I call it a concise tip because certainly avoiding fillers is going to make you more concise. It'll also add a lot to your clarity and to your confident sound. Fillers drag out and muddle messages for listeners, and fillers make you sound very unsure of what you're saying. Here are some common fillers: right, sort of, kind of, something like that, as well as you know, so, and. I know some people that count ums and uhs during presentations, but it's not just annoying, it also really goes to your credibility. There's some research on powerless versus powerful speech, and when listeners in research situations were showed videos of speakers who use lots of fillers, they thought they were very unconfident or powerless in their speech. They give the same speakers a clean script so they would not use any fillers, and the listeners in the research situation thought, wow, they really know what they're talking about. They're very confident. So you can sound confident just by getting rid of your fillers. It's a really important issue to get after. Strategy 1 is to identify your filler habits. These are habits. Most people have specific fillers that they use over and over again. I use kind of, I used to use that. And I also use so, and I'm working on that one, but I still use it from time to time. You want to listen to yourself and pinpoint your specific habits. Listen to a recorded presentation, for example, or you might even ask a trusted friend, hey, do I use any fillers? Do I say you know, or anything like that? And even if they don't have an answer for you on the spot, they'll be able to listen to you as you move forward. Strategy 2 is to replace fillers with pauses. We talked about this in an earlier lesson, how awesome pauses can sound in the right place. Some people call fillers vocalized pauses. In other words, we should be pausing, but we're filling it in with an utterance that doesn't need to be there. Pauses give you time to think, but they also make you sound more confident. Here we have an earlier example with fillers put in there where pauses should be, and you'll notice how tentative and how unsure it sounds. So we have a few items to cover today, and we'll look at our social media campaign, and we'll look at our overall growth, and Aaron will take, suggestions about changes to the website. If I were to come into your meeting and speak like this, you would notice instantly that I had lots of fillers, and I have seen people who are supposed to be in leadership positions doing this. And listeners, in fact, did mention, wow, they said and a lot. This matters to people. But what we want to do is add pauses in those places where we normally use fillers. And we would say the word pause or period in our head, like we mentioned in a previous lesson. Pauses restore that clear, confident sound that we're going for. And you'll notice that there are some pauses in the middle here, but they still sound better than the fillers. So if we were to look at this example, ultimately our goal would be to get rid of the fillers that are in the middle of the sentences and only use the pauses that punctuate our communication in a desired fashion. We want to avoid fillers. Our takeaway strategies are to identify your specific filler habits. You don't do them all, you just do some. And if you isolate your specific habits, you're going to a much easier time solving that problem, and then replace those fillers with actual pauses. Step 1 is to practice saying pause in your head instead of using fillers. Up next, we're going to work on confident nonverbals. That'll be our last lesson, and it'll superimpose and thread through all the other things we've talked about in a really nice way.